Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio. In this video, I'm going to go over a Kickstarter that came in from Scale 75. Again, like the previous one, I have had this for a little bit, just because, real life craziness and everything. So, with that out of the way, before we get started, I do want to say that I do want to thank everybody that has subscribed to my channel, all 150 of you that have stuck around through all my crazy shit. I do have links down in the description for my Instagram, Twitter. I also have opened a Subscribestar if you want to help the channel out with purchasing new equipment, to help the channel out in any way between cameras, mics, everything. And anything that you want me to review or anything that I think that you guys might be interested in, that link will be also in the description. And now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So, what we got here, not a failure to communicate, but this came in, like I said, a little while ago. It arrived. And I opened it up to make sure nothing was damaged, but I haven't cut the shrink wrap on any of this stuff here. So what we got is, this is the, I want to say it's called the MiniPedia? Okay. It's still called MiniPedia, but it's for gamers. Okay. And it's going to cover more along the lines of like gaming miniatures, probably, stuff similar to Warhammer. I want to say they also threw in a little bit of Imperial Assault in here. I want to say, don't quote me on that. I thought I saw pictures of it. But here's some of the goodies that came with the Kickstarter. Gave us another, little like color, mini color theory. And it's also a ruler too. Like, it shows you your primary, your square. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. But it goes over your primary, square, which I didn't even know that. And I mean, I knew basically primary, complementary, and triad. But it also covers square, which is weird. I'm going to really have to look up color theory, because the weird thing is that I was taught it in art school a little bit, but not in depth. So, well, I wasn't in art school. It was art class in high school. Analogous and terroretic. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, But it definitely came with this here. Shows you some mixes on the other side. It says a quick guide to mix colors. You get a wide range of tones, which is great for me because I can't mix colors for shit. I have to rely on, some of the people that I follow for helping me paint my minis, which is Sir Astro. He's on YouTube. If you ever need help or, want to see how things are done, he is phenomenal. He calls himself an intermediate painter. Okay, if he's an intermediate painter, I'm a toddler. I should just give up all my paints and brushes and go back to finger painting. But anyway, so there's the ruler that comes with it. They give you a couple of MiniPedia bookmarkers here. Now, unfortunately, if you missed out on the Kickstarter, you won't be able to get any of the extra stuff. I want to say the minis that came with it through the Kickstarter are probably, you can purchase through their website, either scale75.com for people overseas. Here in the States, I think it's scale75usa.com. I'll check that here in a moment. But I got a nice MiniPedia sticker. Yeah, let's just dump everything out here. Always hang on the plastic bags. They come in handy. Another one I mean, that one looks pretty cool. MiniPedia magnet. I don't think one came with the other one that I got, but I know I got one. It's on that cabinet over there. It was when I kickstarted their artist range of paints and the paint case and everything. So that's cool. And it's like a bottle opener. Both of them are bottle openers. So that's pretty cool. I'll hang this one up over there with it because I keep all my painting supply type stuff over there. Okay, so here's a mini that I will need to put together. Unfortunately, there's no instructions, so it's going to be guesswork. But it's not too bad. Almost lost the dude's head. My God, is that head small, too. Holy crap. Like, there it is, like, right there. Unless I find it's something else. That's a shoe. That could be... That's a piece of his leg. But yeah, I mean, you know, I got this put together because I think it follows I think it's a part of the books. Either that or it's going to be part of the videos, because there's also like some free videos that they give you with it. Because that was some of the stretch goals. And here's a... I don't know what this person or what this mini is. Oh, goody, I've lost a piece down inside the box. There we go. It has a shield. I want to say it's probably like a... not saying that it is, but it's probably like from the Conquistador era, maybe, or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it is, but it's from back in those times when they used shields and swords. Because here's the arm with the sword right here. I want to say this is the scabbard for it, which would have to be attached. And then an upper torso, the head, the base for it. There's that one back in its little bag, so I don't lose it. This one here, I recognize they gave us a tank, which is cool because I'd like to try to do some like model, like car and stuff like that. So this would actually help me with that, between using an airbrush and everything. And this one here is like a... I want to say... Could be a dwarf, because it has an axe. Could be somebody else. I mean, it's small. Again, I don't remember what the model's supposed to be. I think that's its head right there. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be fun trying to put all this stuff together. No instructions whatsoever. So we got a couple of free models, which is nice. Oh, I got 3 stickers. A dragon. And I'm in like sticker heaven, and then here's a MiniPedia sticker right there. Okay, so now that all the freebie stuff's out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Okay, so now I'm sure if you buy all the volumes of this, you'll probably get it. It might come with the holder for it. I know the MiniPedia first edition that I got, same thing. It came in a nice bookcase. It's actually up there. I know I got like a book stand at like It's two pieces, gets put together, and then it can like hold the book, so that way it's holding the book while you're doing whatever. So there's 8 volumes in this. Painting techniques, humanoids, beasts and monsters, troops and aliens, vehicles and ships, soldiers and cavalry, war machines and vehicles, scenery and terrain, which is great because my skills are okay. Don't know if I have any completed ones down here, but I got a few that I've been working on, and I'll show you those once we're done with this. So let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm only going to go over like maybe like the first few pages. So I'm not going to go over like each and every one in like solidarity like the first time I did. It was way too long. Come on. Take this plastic. All right. Okay, so here is everything there. Got a little scuffed up, but then again, I mean, looks like it did bounce probably. I'll look at it this way. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to write to them and go, yeah, I got this, and it's all cracked, and because basically it's just going to sit on my shelf like this next to the other one. Let's pull these off. Change the order. Looking at them. All right. All right, so here's the first one. I'll zoom in. Okay. So it's MiniPedia for gamers. Painting techniques. Now this probably like the previous one, and I'll link it up in the card. That it probably goes over like materials, preparation, holding one or more figures in place, priming, highlight effects, and it just basically covers like, you know, it talks to you about the materials, like the tools, like you'll definitely need this. These are probably like mold line removers of some type, which I would love to know where these are because I'd love to get one. I mean, there's other types. There's the Games Workshop, but they cost too much. And there was Vallejo makes one, but I can't seem to find anybody that sells it yet. But it covers sanding sticks, a fiberglass pencil, which I've used that for fixing circuit boards, and covers other kinds of sanding stuff, types of glues. You can use a hand pin vise to drill holes into plastic if you're going to pin them, and to have them go through the base instead of just gluing them, because it'll be a little more secure because it's glued with the pin in the model and in the base. Talks about you can use a Dremel tool. I've yet to use that on one of these. I would rather do it by hand before I do that, because if you go too far, you could like go right through it. Covers the different types of putties to seal in cracks and stuff in places where either A, you've nicked a chunk out, or B, they come together, or like whenever you remove the sprue piece, which I can show you sprues because I got some sprues somewhere here. But when you take it off, sometimes it causes a little divot, and you want it smooth so that if somebody picks it up, they don't go, oh, what's this, and stuff like that. So, and like, here's a picture here. But as you can see, like, there's a gap because the two halves of this model didn't come together enough to really make a nice seam, so you would use putty right in there, and then you would smooth it out with some sandpaper or sanding stick or something like that to make it smooth so that it like matches the contour of it, And then that way you can paint it. It looks all like one piece, and it looks great. Then it covers like working with metal models, you know, the mold lines that we were talking about, cutting them off of sprues. See, it talks about cutting model pieces off of sprues. And it says some figures made of resin or white metal may have production defects, so you will need to rebuild them or repair the damage, which is true. I mean, you know, that's given of anything. So that's MiniPedia Book 1. Covers the introduction to that. This one is Fantasy Humanoids. And it shows you like pictures of like different things, like of a human. Talks about the color palette. You know. Then you can see the different it looks like they painted the skin first, then the hair, and then the dress. And it just shows you like the different stages, and you can apply these techniques to anything that you paint, not just this particular one. Sometimes you might have to change the order a little bit. And it shows you like different like color palettes for skin and hair, and see, here's a color palette for this guy right here. And I'm sure these models are available on Scale 75's webpage. That's a little taste of MiniPedia Fantasy Humanoids. Okay. Fantasy Beasts and Monsters. Now, this is going to be really helpful for me, because I have quite a few dragons to finish. There was one I started at Origins Game Fair, and my wife's Zombicide Green Horde has two or three dragons. I want to say it's 2. There could be 3. But I'm going to go with at least 2. So, talks about beasts, and the color palette for a wild boar. It shows you the painting of the snout, and then the hair, and how to make it like differentiate between the hair on the back and the hair on the actual body parts. And basically what it looks like at the end. And here's a color palette. Looks to me like a dog, I want to say. Yeah, it's a dog. Okay. And then they call this one Old Major. It was the one where it was the pig that had the slit in its neck going up that you had to fill in. Shows like painting it from different angles to give it like the shadows and the highlights. And then anthropods. Color palette for one. I mean, I never know when I'm going to get a game that has something like this. I know the closest thing to it, but it's not going to be this color, is going to be the sandworms from the Dune game from CMON that I just finished kickstarting here a couple of weeks ago. So, I mean, this will definitely give me some ideas on how to do the sandworms. And it talks about horses, which I have a couple of games with some horses that I need to paint. So this will definitely help me with that. But that is Fantasy Beasts and Monsters. Science Fiction Troops and Aliens. This one, number 4. Did cover Stormtroopers, although this one, you can see the picture here, there's Darth Vader. This is from Star Wars Legion from Fantasy Flight Games, because I recognize the pose. And so I have a feeling the rest of these are pretty much from the same game. And it covers, now in these books, it's going to go over their colors for their range. I'm sure you could probably find equivalents that are probably pretty close in any other range, whether it's Vallejo, Games Workshop, Army Painter. As a matter of fact, Army Painter actually came out with specific Legion-based paints, which, because of the, I guess, the agreement with either Lucasfilm or whatever, they usually have a cross-reference sheet that, like, what colors are the same between different ranges that they make for different things. They're not allowed to post what's the compatible color from the Star Wars paint sets to their regular war paints, which, and I get it, you know, it's licensing and all that stuff. I think it's stupid, but I get it. I see it from both sides. But it talks to you about how to use an airbrush and everything. Shows a little more. I painted my heavy blasters for heavy troopers for my Imperial Assault game. Actually look pretty close to these guys too. I didn't do a bad job. And I didn't even have this book. Alright. But yeah, and then it covers how to shade and how to do their back page for a second. Like, it covers like how to use their mix acrylic retarder and burnt umber to create a very transparent glazes without cuts in the brush strokes. It tells you like how to make your paint like a wash, or basically to shade the different areas. And it's like how to paint the orange shoulder pad for the commander, and pretty much a completed model. And here's Darth Vader. It's basically the Imperial Assault version is he has both hands on his lightsaber and it's going sideways like this. I want to say this is from Legion itself. And then it shows you how to do the object source lighting for like how his lightsaber glows and lights up part of his body. Which Sir Astro did the same thing in the Imperial Assault video. You can find it online. And this is from Aliens. Well, at least I want to say this is from the Aliens game. This game, I have no idea. But it covers armor. So that's Science Fiction Troopers and Aliens. Now here are science fiction vehicles and ships. And if you've played Legion, this is one of them. I can't think of what the name of this is, but it's definitely from Legion because, again, Astro has a video on it. But I'd like to be able to create my own concept. I'd like to get to that point. I'd like to be able to look at something and go, okay, I can use this color, you know. And I'm slowly getting there. It's like anything else. It takes time, practice. But it definitely shows you, like, the different stages on how to... like, what to base coat it. And this blob here, this is probably some kind of putty. I want to say it's that silly putty, so that way it kind of is useful for masking, which is really nice because it comes off. I haven't done it yet. Hopefully I will at some point in time in my life. But yeah, so, because here's the figure that was covered by that. Says add a few touches of polished metal on some edges with SC66 speed metal. The green headlamp is a very careful light glaze in SC84 intense green ink. Glue the arms on both sides of the front part. Yeah, it's like for whatever the vehicle is. It says final views. Work right there. And here's another speeder bike for Legion. Pretty much, I want to say it's almost the same process for painting the Biker Scout as it is for the Stormtroopers to a degree. I'm sure the bike is a little different when it comes to coloring the different parts of it. Because it shows you right here what to use. And there's like mech board games. Kind of reminds me of Mech Warriors. These guys from the video game. Which I'm not even... I mean, I'm not saying that the game doesn't exist, because obviously there's pictures. I'd like to know what it is, because I wouldn't mind checking it out. That's definitely from Mech Warrior right there. I recognize that. But... I mean, the book seems to be pretty helpful. Like I said, I mean, for me, it's definitely going to help me out a lot. And then here's one, Historical Soldiers and Cavalry. This is probably where that one model I was telling you about with the shield and the sword probably is going to come into play. Talks about Roman Legionnaires. Shows you the color palette, basically. What to start with. And then like the armor and leather. There's this kind of shield. And like the final of them. But that is Historical Soldiers and Cavalry. History, War Machines, and Vehicles. Shows you how to paint like cannons. For like dioramas. I thought about doing some dioramas too. And then it talks about what I was saying earlier about drilling. Now this is metal. This is a metal mini because I can tell. I know the camera doesn't record it with the lights and everything. It's kind of, that's why I kind of try to bend it to reflect the light a different way. But as you can see, that looks like metal because of the coloring, and it's drilling into it, and then you use a piece of paper clip and put it in there. Not only is that great for, like, when you permanently mount it to whatever, whether it's for a diorama on a base or whatever, because you drill a hole the same size, you put it through, you cut the excess off, and it's glued onto it. It also is nice if you use a cork, like a wine cork. You can stick the pin in it, into the cork, and it will hold it, and then there's your hobby holder so that you can paint it. You have to be careful because it will spin in a circle because it's not, like, tight, but at least that way you got something to hold on to, and you're not, like, holding the miniature while you're trying to paint. And it shows how to do like elephants, and it's talking about, like, using a piece of foam rubber to, like, dab on it to make spots. And I mean, you could do that for a lot of other things too. But that is history, war machines, and vehicles. Yeah, it's like, yeah, here's the tank. That'll be cool to try that on that tank that they gave me as part of the Kickstarter. And there's airplanes. Okay, the last one. Okay. This is scenery and terrain. And the reason why I'm going to enjoy this one the most is because I have Corvus Games Terrain's 3D files for the Sanctum Sanctorum, which looks almost exactly like the one in the movie. And if I can ever get my 3D printer to work correctly, I want to 3D print it. Thinking about at some point maybe changing that to one of the Elgu models, and pray to God it works better than the Anycubics. But there's that, plus the actual Sanctum Sanctorum model that they released for Marvel's Crisis Protocol. This will definitely help me a lot. But it talks about base decoration, and a color level for... I have not the foggiest idea what this is. Some kind of diorama. It's probably some, like, stone, maybe from, like, an ancient ruin. It's on a base, because I can see the plants in this one, and makes a little more sense now. And it talks about, like, priming. And this is, like, for the bases. But see, I've done this when I did the Bantha Rider for Imperial Assault. I put this crackling earth texture from Games Workshop, and when it dries, it cracks. So it kind of looks like the desert of Tatooine. And the beauty of it is that it actually cracked, I want to say, because there was two of them. One of them cracked in the right way, where it looked like the Bantha, when it was stepping down, it kind of cracked the ground, which was really neat. And it shows you how to use their summer ground on it to give it texture. And the final result. Now, looking from the armor, this looks like a Games Workshop model. And same thing with whatever this one is, because it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to see if I do cover Oh, jeez. Now that looks awesome. That lava, my god, does that look awesome. That's from the Lord of the Rings. Don't ask me where it is. Don't ask me what the game is. I wish I knew. That looks cool. Okay. Trying to see. Now, these are the barriers or whatever for Star Wars Legion. Shows you how to paint those. So here they are right here. Buildings. Here we go. Now, this will come in handy for me for Zombicide. I also picked up some 3D files for some, kind of like this style of buildings and stuff like that. So, again, when I can get my 3D printer working, or get a new printer that works better, this will come in handy for that. And it hopefully will give me an idea of how to do the Sanctum and stuff like that. And here's what I've been working on. Zoom this in. Okay. Too close. There we go. Let's see if I hold it and zoom in, if it'll... Oop, too much, sorry. Oh, you suck. You suck, camera. There we go. Alright. So, this is the Captain America from my wife's Marvel's United. And I've been following Sir Astro's guides online. And I'm not done with it. This is about as far as I got. And I need to finish this one up. Now, this next one is for the Marvel's Crisis Protocol game. And I know the light isn't, lighting it up that great. Yep, there's America's ass right there. But, like I said, I'm not a bad painter. I think I'm okay. My wife will say otherwise. Some friends will say otherwise. To me, I'm my own worst critic. and I really am. But that is the MiniPedia for gamers. I'm sure... I don't think it's available yet. It should be soon. Yeah, the only one they have is the first one, which is the first MiniPedia that I kickstarted. The second one, I'm sure it's going to be released at some point in time. When, I don't know. I know they're probably still shipping the stuff to backers. I got a feeling once that's done, then they should show up. So I would say keep an eye out on scale75usa.com if you're here in the States. If you're anywhere else, just go to scale75.com and see what they have there. But with that, that is it. As I said, if you like what I do, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that way you'll get notified when I upload new videos. And remember, there's links in the description for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my Subscribe Star. And with that, I'd like to say thank you and have a good day, guys, and take care.